You wanna know what she said, she might just change your life.
And you are in studio with Christine Bentley, Kate Wheeler, and our guest today is Jessica Aaronworth. And Jessica has a master's degree in counseling psychology. Welcome, Jessica.
Hi, thank you.
And we're going to talk about something that is really very topical for very many people, which is empowering people, and especially parents, to start over and learn to live and love again after separation or divorce, which for many people is not easy.
No, I know it's challenging because everything changes, everything's knocked off balance, and often you don't know how to pick up the pieces or where to start.
So quickly tell us how you got into this. What motivated you to start this sort of one-man band to help everybody?
Yeah, I had a company for 12 years, really focused around anger management. So I worked a lot with, domestic violence and couples therapy and, men and women who had relationship issues. I myself have been through a few years, and I went through my own separation and divorce process. So in the midst of all of that, I needed to find a way to stand on my own and rediscover who I was. So while I started that process, this is what came about.
So you decided to leave where you were?
Yeah, I kind of say that I, not to sound flippant about it or anything, but I left all of my relationships in one fell swoop. So I left my business relationship and my marriage. And I just needed to start all over again, fresh, healthy patterns in my life, and really create healthy relationships within my life.
Including with your 3 children.
Including with my 3 children. And that was really, really challenging. At the beginning of the whole process, as there is in most processes, there was a lot of blame, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. And my kids would ask me questions. Whose fault is it that there's a divorce? Who wanted the divorce? And at the beginning, I sat there and I wasn't blindsided by it, but I was just like, how do you answer these questions? And they kept on coming up. So finally, one day, I looked at them and I said, let me ask you a question. I said, how do you dream of your life when you get married? Do you dream that you'll be divorced? And they said, no. And I said, well, when I was a little girl and dreamed of being married, I never dreamed of being divorced. I never dreamed that my relationship would not work out. And then I said to them, but everyone deserves to be happy and to feel loved. And do you guys feel happy and loved? And they said, yeah. And I said, and that's what matters. And what we're trying to do here is create, I don't call it really a separation of the family, because no matter what happens, when you have kids, you are together for better or for worse. You have to figure out ways to make it work, or else that co-parenting relationship is going to be horrific. And we started along those lines. But I really said to them, I said, our family is shifting form in a way that we all can feel happy and loved.
Let me ask you, do you find it easier now to coach people on a constructive divorce separation so that everybody can move forward? Because, I think 20 years ago, you just heard about, people that I talked to, it was so vindictive. It was so, everybody was so angry, and now people are, I think, a little more aware. Are they? Or maybe they're not. Maybe it's so primal that they're not. I don't know.
You get different groups of people, and it really depends on what stage in the process everyone is at. So at the beginning, and some people never get past that hurt and that pain, and that vindictiveness just continues and continues. But when we start exploring that, when I'm in session with clients and we start exploring that, what really comes up and what they come to notice is that the more hurt and pain and hatred and vindictive behavior you bring into your life, it's not hurting the other person, it's hurting you. Because every part of your life becomes angry and hurt and negative, and you carry that with you.
It hurts you and your children.
It does, and it increases a lot of anxiety. Like the kids' anxiety increases. So, and that's what I found with my kids going through the process. I watched as their anxiety went up, and once they got the answers they wanted, and once they started, once my relationship with their dad started to calm down a little bit, and we kind of found our footing, their anxiety calmed down. And I literally went from getting calls from the school every day to the school now coming to me and saying, they're finding their way, their grades are going up, they're happy, So the way that we, the way people who are going through the process cope and deal with everything, that's what's going to affect, your relationship with your kids, the emotional health of your kids, physical health of your kids, and the health of everyone around you.
We are talking with Jessica Aaronworth, who is all about empowering parents to start over and learn to love again after separation or a divorce. And you are listening on What She Said, Sirius XM 167. Now, I mean, you're virtually guaranteeing people, you say that you have 100% guarantee that it can and will get better, but you've put together a sort of a toolbox of ways to help people. How do they connect with that?
Yeah, so, for the past 12 years, I've gotten phone calls from people saying that counseling is just so expensive and really inaccessible to most people. So what I've done is I've put together video courses, and I have a library filled, right now there's over 115 videos in there, all on topics that I've worked with and tools and strategies that I've worked with my own private clients over the past 12 years. So when you buy a membership to the site, you get all the courses. I'm continually updating and adding new courses and new videos. But you also get support. And I think that's the difference. When we look at the self-help world, a lot of it doesn't work. You feel empowered for a little bit, and then you drop it, because it takes time to shift behaviors.
Right.
And it takes support to be able to go through it. So when you buy a library subscription, you also get access to live webinars where you can come and ask your questions and say, this is what's working, this isn't working, how do I do this, how do I navigate through that? And I'm there to support you all the way through.
So how do they email? Do you do Skype sessions, or how does it work? Or is there a community where people who are subscribed can sort of interact with one another because they're all going through the same thing and say, this video really helped me, this tutorial really helped me?
Right. So I have a Facebook community right now called Parenting Through Divorce and Separation.
Right.
And within the videos, within all that, the webinars are all virtual online. I also do individual sessions, virtual online. So we can actually see each other. It's like we're in the same room.
Perfect.
And do our sessions that way. And what that also does is helps cut down on travel time and everything within our busy schedules. And it keeps confidentiality. I've seen people sit in their cars scared to come inside the clinic just because they don't want to be seen, and they would, cover their face and run in.
But I think you're right in that a lot of people going through that, they've got other things to deal with. They now have, maybe they're single parents, obviously, and so they've got their kids for 3 days, and they've got a house to run on their own, and they've got other things. So finding the time to know that 3 weeks from now you're going to have a session.
Right.
Whereas this way, it's sort of a little bit on demand.
Yes.
that you can go in and get some help.
And I
That's
do.
amazing.
I get texts from my clients all the time saying, "I need a session now. My kids will be in bed at 8:30, so can we do a session?"
But perfect.
Yeah, it's really great.
absolutely perfect, tailor-made.
And the website is? What's the website?
The website's jessicaaaronworth.com.
So that's easy. So it's EHRENWORTH. We have this up on our website as well. I believe you've written up a
Yes.
blog post for us, so you can check it out there, and all the
So you
links
can go to the website.
will be in there.
Yeah,
What
go
she
to the
said
website,
radio.com.
subscribe, and then
Yeah, on the website I have a free download guide for helping parents to parent peacefully, and you can download that guide.
I
right off
know
the
that some
website.
people out there are asking, well, how much is a subscription to get the whole works,
Oh.
including the webinars, and we might as well tell them
It's really reasonable. It's $297 for the full year.
for the full
Well,
year.
that's-
$297 for the full year, which is less than 2 sessions of counseling.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
and you're there basically.
I'm there all the
All the
time.
time.
I'm online all the time, and the feedback that I've gotten is it's really great because there's always someone to support you when you're feeling really down and answer your questions who can give you, accurate
So if you are struggling with a divorce or separation, spinning out of control maybe a little bit, Jessica Aaronworth is there apparently all the time.
All the time. What can you imagine?
To help
I'm
you.
putting my kids to bed in 15 minutes. Can we talk then? I mean, that sounds perfect. And you're available to clients across Canada and the U.S.
Yeah.
or anywhere, I guess.
Anywhere you can Skype, or it's
Amazing.
not Skype. I use a more secure platform.
That's good to know too. All right, thank you very much for coming in and telling us all about it, Jessica.
Thank you so much for having me.
Click the channel subscribe button for full-length interviews and more from What She Said here on YouTube.